Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome to the Shadow Gallery. I am, as always, your host, James Donnelly. And check that clock on the wall, because you know what time it is. It's time for new comics, bitches! So, let's get right into it, people. Alright, so a couple more FLASHPOINT tie-ins this week. They're getting harder and harder to care about because FLASHPOINT itself is just hard to care about. So we're gonna do a little bit on that right now. That's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with coincidentally enough, the FLASHPOINT Hal Jordan #1. This was, I have to say, probably the most meaningless tie-in that I've ever seen to anything that's trying to change status quo or trying to make us believe that we're in another dimension or whatever is going on. Because, they keep telling us, FLASHPOINT is not taking place in Earth 2 or, on one of the infinite Earths. It is happening on this Earth. This, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it's because of the film, if they're trying to market it, through the comics more, but this was, it's pretty much steeped in Green Lantern mythology. There's nothing that I read that said, okay, well, this is really different. This is an interesting take. There was no, literally nothing that I could point to that said, this is a really unusual, really different take. Because I may not care for most of the FLASHPOINT tie-ins that I've read, but at least, they are giving us something different. They're going in a different direction from what the usual characters they've given us. So, it was totally boring, totally useless. I don't remember who wrote it. I don't care who wrote it. I don't remember who did the art. And so, just nothing on that one to me. However, there was actually, of all of the tie-ins, of all the FLASHPOINT tie-ins thus far, there is one that I do think is worth actually continuing to pick up. And that is FLASHPOINT Project Superman #1. This is a big week for Scott Snyder, because he had 3 books that came out this week, and we'll get to some of those others later on. But Project Superman was something that he pretty much plotted. The actual writing went to Lowell Francis, who I don't know who that is, and the art is by Gene Ha. And this is a really good book. This is a really unusual. Again, this is where, if this is the way that FLASHPOINT intends to proceed, this is the way it should proceed, because it is a different take on mythology, basically. The mythology of the DC Universe. So, because first what we have here, is we have this guy, Sinclair, who basically signs up to undergo metahuman experiments on himself. He's a soldier. General Sam Lane is in this, Papa to Lois. So, and he starts undergoing these experiments. Of course, there's the doctor who says, abandon all hope, ye who enter here, type of thing, because, everything is going to go completely wrong. And, of course, this is the guy that they should have listened to, because as they do more and more experiments on Sinclair, he becomes more, his powers seem to be constantly evolving. There's new ones that seem to come out all the time. It's like, it's like it's like electricity, and then X-ray vision, and super hearing, and then, like liquefying stuff. It's really kind of all over the place. And they kind of finally let him off the leash to, like 3 years after all this experimentation. to go on a mission, and he ends up actually killing all of the support team that he went on the mission with. So they lock him away, and they try and basically forget about him until something crashed. He's basically, several, however many feet underground in an experimental lab in Metropolis, and then boom, something, this little tiny capsule with all these crystals inside of it and a little baby crash lands in Metropolis. So, now he feels that, Sinclair, he's got something to prove. So I'm really anxious to see where this is going to go. This is actually one that I'm looking forward to the next issue of, as opposed to any of the other ones. Like I said, I could care less. I could almost care less about Flashpoint itself. But this is where we're going, so I guess we better strap in for the ride. So, okay, moving away from Flashpoint, nothing really Fear itself related as far as the big company-wide event comics that are out right now. But as far as one kind of at least kind of character-wide thing, we've got X-Men Prelude to Schism, is it Schism or Schism? People say it both ways. Prelude to Schism number 4 of 4. Paul Jenkins has done a really good job of writing this series. This one was the one I was a little afraid of, though, because this one is almost entirely centered around Wolverine. Now, this is important, though, because if my understanding of the Schism event, I'm just going to keep saying that because I don't know which way is the correct pronunciation. If my interpretation of this event is to my understanding, there will be essentially a divide of the X-Men, and there's going to be Team Wolverine and Team Cyclops. Now, you know me, you know that I'm a huge Cyclops fan, and I want Cyclops to put the major spank onto that hairy little Canuck. And happy Canada Day, by the way. So it's just, to me, I feel that, but in the instance of telling the story, setting up the event, it's important to get, some input from Wolverine as well. And it turns out in actually a nice way. I actually like the way that Jenkins wrote this story, because it wasn't so kind of, okay, well, I'm, I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice type of shit going on through this. Because that always, it always kind of irritates me when Wolverine takes center stage. Now, he is a character with a lot of backstory, and that is part of what we deal with in this issue, is that basically, his going through the ages, certain points in his life that point to, okay, well, it's one, it's kind of like, okay, to say something is to do it. It's that belief of, okay, well, if I say, okay, I'm going to do this, chances are I might, but I also might not. But if I say, well, I'm not going to do this because it's not going to work, we're all dead type of thing, then, you are almost always going to be on the side of, well, okay, everybody does die. We are all going to die. With that, so it's, kind of Wolverine delivering that same kind of mentality to the story. And, he and Cyclops share a little joke at the end of it. And, so whatever this threat is, I'm really looking forward to finding out more about it, and so I'm looking forward to getting more of Schism. Amazing Spider-Man 664. Obviously, we are almost full steam ahead into Spider Island, or Infested, or whatever the hell they're going to call it. it's been weird because it was like there was like a month without a Spider-Man comic, and now, and they seem to have been coming out every week. So that kind of screwed me up. It's like, okay, I don't know how many, how much time has actually gone by. Yeah. So, and that's dealing primarily with, kind of the whole anti-venom, kind of wrapping up, kind of really putting a very, kind of a neat little bow on everything that's come before, with anti-venom and Mr. Negative and the Wraith. It's kind of wrapping all of these things up into one issue, and that's where I have a problem with it, is that it seems terrifically short. It's like, what? Wait, did? What? I don't. It's like I don't understand where they. I mean, they just jumped from okay, here's the A, B, and C story, and okay, well, we have 22 pages to wrap it all up, so let's do that real fast and get it all out of the way. And it felt very forced to me. It did not feel organic, which is a shame to me. With Dan Slott doing usually such a great job at this comic, so it was just disappointing. The way that it just everything felt right. Okay, we're really wrapping it up here, and that's it. I did like the the D story, if you will, which is the training with Spidey training with Shang-Chi. That's been really we haven't seen really any of that since it was first mentioned, and it's a cool that's a cool story. I wish I actually could have seen more of that, because it's pretty much just visual. It's just the development of it's like the the development of the style, just but just looking at it. It's not heavy into exposition, and that's fine. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. But again, the main story of 664 just didn't really do anything for me. I mean, I suppose that it's nice to get everything out of the way. I mean, they've got one more issue before Spider Island begins, because it begins with 666. I think they could have taken their time. That's just me. Maybe. I don't know if you agree. If you do, let me know. Anyway, that's it for this segment. See, I'm trying to get faster with these, so that I can get more ideas across in less time, as opposed to doing 10 comics over the course of 5-10 minute segments. Okay, so anyway, so we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back with some more comics and of course the book of the week. So don't touch that dial, son or daughter, whatever. You know what I mean. See you in a bit.